Excuse me, what time is it?
It's 10 o'clock.
It's 10 o'clock, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
By the way, my name is Phương. Nice to meet you.
My name is Linh. Nice to meet you too.
So your name is Linh, isn't it?
Yes.
Nice name.
Thanks. Your name is good too.
Thanks. May I ask you some questions about your daily routine?
Yes, of course.
What time do you usually get up in the morning?
I usually get up at 5 o'clock.
At 5 o'clock?
Yes.
And after getting up, what do you usually do after getting up?
Well, after getting up, I usually have breakfast.
Have breakfast?
Yes.
Do you usually have breakfast?
Yes, I do. I do it very often.
You do it very often?
Yes.
Who do you usually have breakfast?
I usually have breakfast alone.
Alone?
Yes.
What time do you usually have breakfast?
I usually have breakfast at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock?
Yes.
And after having breakfast, what do you usually do after having breakfast?
Well, after having breakfast, I usually go to school.
Go to school?
Yes.
Do you like going to school?
Yes, but not very much.
Not very much?
Yes.
How often do you go to school?
6 days a week. I go to school 6 days a week.
6 days a week?
Yes.
Who do you usually go to school with?
With my friends. I usually go to school with my friends.
With your friends?
Yes.
How far is it from your room to your school?
It's about 200 meters to get there.
200 meters?
Yes.
How long does it take you to get to your school?
It takes me about 10 minutes to get there.
10 minutes?
Yes.
How many people are there in your class?
50 people. There are 50 people in my class.
50 people?
Yes.
How do you usually go to school?
On foot. I usually go to school on foot.
On foot?
Yes.
What time do you usually come back home from school?
I usually come back home from school at 11:45.
At 11:45?
Yes.
And after coming back home from school, what do you usually do after coming back home from school?
Well, after coming back home from school, I usually go to the market.
Go to the market?
Yes.
Do you usually go to the market?
Yes, I do. I do it very often.
You do it very often?
Yes.
What time do you usually go to the market?
I usually go to the market at 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock?
Yes.
Who do you usually go to the market?
I usually go to the market with my friends.
With your friends?
Yes.
How long does it take you to go to the market?
It takes me about 15 minutes to go to the market.
15 minutes?
Yes.
And after going to the market, what do you usually do after going to the market?
Well, after going to the market, I usually cook lunch.
Cook lunch?
Yes.
Do you usually cook lunch?
Yes, I do. I do it very often.
You do it very often?
Yes.
Do you like cook lunch?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
Yes.
Who do you usually cook lunch?
I usually cook lunch alone.
Alone?
Yes.
How long does it take you to cook lunch?
It takes me about 30 minutes to cook lunch.
30 minutes?
Yes.
And after cooking lunch, what do you usually do after cooking lunch?
Well, after cooking lunch, I usually have lunch.
Have lunch?
Yes.
Do you usually have lunch?
Yes, I do. I do it very often.
You do it very often?
Yes.
Who do you usually have lunch with?
I usually have lunch alone.
Alone?
Yes.
How long does it take you to have lunch?
It takes me about 20 minutes to have lunch.
20 minutes.
Yes.
And after having lunch, what do you usually do after having lunch?
Well, after having lunch, I usually have a nap.
Have a nap?
Yes.
Do you usually have a nap?
Yes, I do. I do it very often.
You do it very often?
Yes.
How long does it take you to have a nap?
It takes me about 1 hour to have a nap.
1 hour?
Yes.
And after having a nap, what do you usually do after having a nap?
Well, after having a nap, I usually study.
Study?
Yes.
Do you usually study?
Yes, I do. I do it very often.
You do it very often?
Yes.
Do you like studying?
Yes, I do. I like it very much.
Very much?
Yes.
How long does it take you to study?
It takes me about 4 hours to. It takes me about 4 hours to study.
4 hours?
Yes.
Who do you usually study with?
I usually study with my friends.
With your friends?
Yes.
And after studying, what do you usually do after studying?
And after studying, I usually have dinner.
Have dinner?
Yes.
Do you usually have dinner?
Yes, I do. I do it very often.
You do it very often?
Yes.
Who do you usually have dinner with?
I usually have dinner with your friends. With my friends.
With your friends?
Yes.
How long does it take you to have dinner?
It takes me about 30 minutes to have dinner.
30 minutes?
Yes.
And after having dinner, what do you usually do after having dinner?
Well, after having dinner, I usually go to bed.
Go to bed?
Yes.
What time do you usually go to bed?
I usually go to bed at 11 o'clock.
At 11 o'clock?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. And before going to bed, what do you usually do before going to bed?
Well, before going to bed, I usually read books.
Read books?
Yes.
Do you usually read books?
Yes, I do. I do it very often.
You do it very often?
Yes.
Do you like reading books?
Yes, I do. I like it very much.
Very much?
Yes.
How long does it take you to read books?
It takes me about 2 hours to read books.
2 hours?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, see you later.
See you later. Ta-ta.